Hey, it's time for one of my rant videos. Nobody's home, so I can yell and scream and say whatever I want. This one's, I'm not even sure the title yet, but basically it's about the myth of the fourth party system, maybe even the fifth party system, whatever political scientists and professors in colleges are calling that nowadays. Um, Party systems are basically divided up until at least the late 1800s on when two different political parties were facing each other for general elections, national elections, stuff like that. You had the first party system, which was basically the Federalists against the Democratic Republicans, they called themselves. And then as you moved along, each time a new political party came up to challenge the other political party, they would change the party system, called the second party system, the third party system, and so forth. So the second party system basically started up when the Whigs came about. I think it was 1830 something, 1826, 1832, and that was the second party system. The third party system came up when the Whigs went away and the Republican Party came in 1856. Um, that was the third party system. And then you had the fourth party system, which basically started at the end of Reconstruction, a little after that. And from that point on, I haven't seen any real differences. They've named a couple. I think we're on the sixth party system now, they say, but really, that's not the case. My rant today is mostly about problems with the two main political parties in the United States, the Republican and the Democratic Party. Both of these political parties have a strong history going way back. Democratic Party basically started with Jackson. Some say Jefferson, but it's pretty accepted that it's Jackson. I believe that was 1820-ish. Yeah, right around there. And then you had the Republicans who traced their heritage back to the Whigs. But basically nowadays, and basically since basically the turn of the 20th century, going into the 20th century, and more so after the 1950s, the two-party system is a joke. It really is. Americans now are fooled by politics in general. You have Democrats on one side, Republicans on the other. But if you look at the whole, the actual diagram of political thought, the extreme left and the extreme right, leftists or liberals and right conservatives, Republicans and Democrats really fall more toward the center overall, at least as far as most Americans go. And my problem with both parties is that they cater to the middle and talk about the extremes. Democrats really need, how do I say this without upsetting people, but basically they need anybody who's on welfare. They will never get rid of welfare because they need all those votes. They're not going to do any immigration reform because they need new immigrants coming over in these low-paying jobs to vote for them, because they promised higher wages, higher minimum wage. And then you get the Republican Party, who says they cater to the middle class, but really they're just really in big business and the rich. When the Democrats attack the Republicans about basically taking care of the rich, I do believe that. But also most Democrats are very rich too. Both political parties, it's a joke. They basically, it's like choosing two football teams to watch on Sunday, and you pick your favorite. It doesn't really matter. You listen to really both of these people in both parties talk. It's a joke. They all have their beliefs, but they pick a party, they run in that party, and then that's it. Because you can't get elected in this country unless you pick one of those parties. So Democrat, Republican parties, there's no real platform there. There's nothing. They want votes, so they're going to say everything they can say to get every vote. They're going to have certain core beliefs, I guess, but really in the end, it's not that way. Like Democrats, if you're in a union and you're really pro-union, you're going to be Democrat. There's no other way around it. And if you're rich and you made your money in your own business or something like that, and you have a big business, you're going to be Republican. If you're a rural farmer, especially evangelical or Christian right, stuff like that, you're going to be Republican. If you believe in social programs, high-end social programs, welfare, Social Security, which don't get me wrong, Social Security really is for everybody, but whatever. You really are, universal health care, stuff like that, you're mostly going to be a Democrat.
But as far as the people running and the primaries and all that, it's a joke. You take all these guys and they basically pick a side. Then if you think that you actually have a choice based on these two political parties, you're fooling yourself. I don't belong to either one of these two parties. I belong to a third party called the Modern Whig Party, and I've said this a couple of times, and I truly believe this. If you went, I'll put their link down below. But if you, most people, I belong to the Modern Whig Party. I think I already said that, but most people, I think, would believe a lot of the beliefs and values that the Modern Whig Party stands for. They, how do I say? I said this a few times to other people, but I think. They asked me about my political party I belong to, and I say most Americans probably are modern Whigs. They just don't know it yet. I truly believe that. And this is not a video to try to promote that party. Well, it kind of is a little bit, but my main purpose of this video is to basically try to relay that if you really think that your party, the Republicans or the Democrats, are really working for you, unless you're rich, they're not working for you. I guess if you're poor, more so if you don't want to work. I'm sorry, but I got to say it. If you don't want to work, you like getting welfare, you like social programs that will pay you to sit on your ass, then you have to be Democrat. You cannot milk the social system in this country, in the United States. And you can go online and look at videos on this. I mean, there's people that will admit it. Yeah, they go to collect their paycheck and they don't want to work. They're going to vote Democrat every single time. They're never going to vote for a Republican. And you know what? I don't blame them. If you don't want to work and you want to milk the system, why would you vote for some people that are probably going to, hurt that cause? I work in education, and Republicans aren't usually a big supporter of education because, and I don't think it's really their fault. Most Republicans don't understand why they keep feeding a system that doesn't work. So I can understand that part a little bit. But just to say that all Republicans hate education is wrong too. It's just wrong. And again, my third party that I belong to, they call it a third party, but I believe, unfortunately, it just hasn't gotten enough publicity. People just don't understand it yet, or just many people, especially in my state. I live in New Hampshire. We pride ourselves in having the first presidential primary, which is like in a week and a half. So most people in my state aren't even affiliated with either party. They're undeclared, so they can go into these primaries and pick a side, like I just said, pick a side and vote for the person they like. Because these candidates come into New Hampshire and will sit down with you in a little cafe with 20 people in it and talk to you. So it's a great chance to see the candidates. I'll give them that. It's really not fair to the rest of the country. But these guys come in here and will cater to everybody, but really New Hampshire is not a red or blue state. It's really not. I believe most people in New Hampshire are Whigs, and like I said, they don't even know it yet. Because most people in this state will work and try to do the things they need to do to get the stuff that they want to get. They're very Yankee orientated as far as philosophy goes, personal philosophy goes. That's where the term comes from. People in New England are a certain way. Not so much as they were 50 years ago, but still. You're dealing with people that work for their money. They have places to live. They work every day, 40 hours plus a week. Excuse me. And really, they don't belong to either party. I think I truly had to look it up again, but last time I checked, most people in New Hampshire are what we call undeclared. There's no independent in New Hampshire. It's either you belong to a political party or you're undeclared. And my state's pretty brutal on that. I'm a modern Whig, but they won't let me declare my party because they don't recognize it. My state doesn't recognize the party because you haven't won anything or gotten at least 3% of the vote in any kind of gubernatorial election for the governor. So they don't recognize my party, which, whatever, I don't care. Basically, they feed the Democrats and Republicans, basically. They make it so that only those two parties can make it. And people are told constantly, especially in my state, New Hampshire, they are told you cannot be in a third party because your vote won't count. You're throwing your vote away, more so than even other states during a general election. And because of that, I'm actually really considering not voting in the primary this year because how can I say that I belong to a political party and then not be in that political party? In order to vote in a presidential primary in New Hampshire, or any primary in New Hampshire, you have to declare yourself in that party. So what people will do is people will go up in line, and if they have to declare their party. So if they're undeclared, they have to declare themselves a Democrat or Republican or Libertarian. I think Libertarians have actually had a couple primaries here and there. But that's it as far as I know. and they have to declare themselves in that party, get a ballot for that party, vote, and then once they're done voting, they can go out, and if they want to, they can go right back to the tables off to the side and undeclare themselves and remove themselves from that political party. Um, to me, that's just, it doesn't show anything. Why do these candidates care about this stuff if they're not real Democrats or real Republicans? What does it matter? I guess I don't know. But the more I'm thinking about it, and I've actually committed myself to trying to do more for my organization. I think that Americans have been snowed. I think that it's all a big game. They want all Americans to sleep and not say anything, not question anything. Just choose your side and vote, and whoever wins, wins. You ever watched a presidential State of the Union address? Oh my God. Every time that freaking president says something, anything that relates to a certain topic that's important, like, I went ahead and I decreased unemployment by 5%. And that president's political party, that whole side of the room will stand up and clap. And then the other side will sit down. And then when he says something else again, that side will stand up. And it's just very, very one-sided, bipolar, I guess you'd say, or whatever. It's a joke. It's a total joke. You can say what you want about like the European system, which has a lot of different parties, and then they come together and form a group. You know what? I almost think that's better. I know some countries have a hard time, like especially like Italy. I know has a history of having a really hard time with governments. But in the end, our government's fake. It's controlled by lobbyists. It doesn't serve the people. And everybody who goes and gets elected to Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, they go in with all these great ideas, and they're beaten down. Their first year, they're not allowed to do anything, and then as they're molded into the system, then they can start doing things, but it's all about self-preservation, political survival, and every once in a while do something good that you can advertise so you keep getting voted into office. Back when this country started, those positions weren't even supposed to be full-time positions. They were supposed to be just you go in and vote every once in a while and go back home. Now it's a full-time job, which I understand how things get more intense over time. There's more things that are happening. I have no real problem with it being a full-time job as long as they serve the people. But you know what? It's not those representatives and senators' faults. It's the people that are screwing up. The people don't say anything. The people don't care. If everybody went in and during the primary and voted for Mickey Mouse for the Republican and Democratic primary, that would make a real big statement. So you know what? I wish people would do that. Just go in and vote for Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and just tell all these freaking idiots that we don't care that you have all this money to run for president and maybe you'll get elected. I mean, look at Donald Trump. I mean, just don't even think about anything else I've said and look at Donald Trump running for president. Are you goddamn kidding me that this guy is actually look at him. He squints and he talks like this and he's full of shit. I'm sorry. He is full of shit. He's a rich, spoiled brat who has plenty of money to run, and there's enough idiots out here. I'm sorry. If you're actually going to vote for Donald Trump, somebody who has more money than God, who doesn't give a shit about you, he's just going to say what he wants. He's going to say what he wants whenever he wants. He's not going to play the political process, which, unfortunately, there is a political process you have to go through to be successful. I understand that. He won't do it. He'll go in there and nothing will get done for 4 years, even worse than now. He'll just make a bunch of stupid speeches. Every single country will lose respect for us, and nothing will get done. And God forbid he gets us into some conflict somewhere because he's a freaking asshole and decides he's going to piss somebody off. Don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid about going and fighting the good fight for whoever it may be. I'm probably service military myself. But I don't want to go somewhere just because Donald Trump says the wrong freaking thing. I'm sorry. I mean, if you're going to vote for Donald Trump, I'm just going to say it. If you're voting for Donald Trump, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I have to say it. You're an idiot. I would rather vote for Hillary Clinton, which I would never really vote for because she is the epitome of the political system. Okay? I mean, I'll be a New York senator, so she basically moves in and all of a sudden she could be a New York senator, and they vote her in. Ugh. It's just too bad that people who have good ideas, the average, God forbid the middle class, some people who actually get up every day and work and do the right thing every day. No, we get the only people that can run for office are people who are rich. And it just drives me nuts. So yes, I think the Democratic and Republican parties are a joke. There is no party system. There used to be. But now it's just basically a political machine. Keep the public relatively happy and do what we want to do and have our own agenda, whatever it may be. And no, don't make any waves. I think it's about time for a new group of people to come up with new ideas, and God forbid we actually have people who will reward merit, which is again a big thing with my party that I belong to, and start getting things done. It doesn't matter so much if I believe in socialized medicine and you don't believe in socialized medicine. Let's just, you got to get things done. You got to make things better as we go along. When 4 years start and then they end, you should, if you're in charge, things should be better 4 years later. If they're not, you did something wrong. Now, there are outside influences like a war or famine or things go wrong. I understand that. But the whole political game is really messed up. It would just be nice to get people involved that want to do good things. I'm going to try to do my part. I've said that over the last year, and with my, I have a full-time job. It's more than a full-time job. I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to do what I can, though. So I just wish that people would start making a difference. And I tell you, it needs to start at the local level. We can all sit there and aspire, let's get a new president, a new political party. Well, yeah, that's great, but really, you got to work your way up. And it would just be nice to see some people get into office who aren't Democrats and Republicans and just want to do good things for their constituents. And if I said that right. So basically, I want to end this. I'm at 16 minutes. Republican and Democratic parties are not parties. They're just two teams that you're choosing sides. Like when the Super Bowl comes up, my team is no longer in the Super Bowl. Patriots are out. So do I root for the Carolina Panthers or do I root for the Denver Broncos? Oh, gee, I don't know. Does it really freaking matter to me? No. So I look at the political process the same way. In case you were interested, if I have to vote, which I will vote, in the general election, I'm going to vote. And right now, I guess the only person that really has the integrity, in my opinion, right now is Bernie Sanders. And I know he has a lot of social programs, and I lean more to the right on most things, but if I'm going to pick a man or a woman, somebody to be president who's going to be my leader, I want somebody who can be a leader. And right now, Bernie Sanders is the only one there that I trust. Really, he's a little bit left for me, but at least I trust the guy. At least I think he has integrity. Oh my God, integrity. Who has integrity? Oh, yeah, right. So that's just my thoughts on the whole political process. Again, I've done a couple of videos like this, but and this is not a modern Whig kind of. I'm promoting it, I guess, but not as much as I'm going to do another video and talk a little more about it. But if you live in New Hampshire, and especially New Hampshire, but also the rest of the country, think about it for a minute. I mean, really. Don't you want things to get better? Or at least make an effort to make things better. If you go out and do something and make an effort to make things better and then things don't get better, at least you tried. Like they say when you vote. A lot of people don't vote because they think it doesn't matter. It might not in certain cases, but if you vote, at least if you vote, you could say you tried to do something. If Bernie Sanders gets a Democratic nomination and I vote for him and he loses, at least I can say I tried. But I think most people really need to step up a little bit and make their voices heard and just say, look, enough's enough. The Democrats don't care about you. The Republicans don't care about you. And I have a party that I belong to based on their beliefs and values, but there are others and which might fit you better. I think the Modern Whig Party right now is the best one because they're a very centrist type of group, but they're common sense orientated and they're merit. They base their stuff on merit and do the right thing. Try to make things better, and that's the best way to go. So, I actually think that I'm not going to vote in the New Hampshire primary because it would be hypocritical because I consider myself belonging to another political party. Why would I abandon that political party to become a temporary Democrat or Republican so I can choose somebody? I don't know. I guess I'd have to ask for my party's position on that since the state doesn't recognize my party. I don't know if they would consider it treasonous if I voted in the primary. I guess it's a good question to ask. So if I do for whatever reason, it doesn't change the fact I consider myself a modern Whig and that's it. If I vote in the primary, it's going to be because I've been told that, hey, it's okay to do that, but whatever else. We'll see what happens. And if something changes, maybe I'll make another video or make a comment on this one. So just think about the political process. And if you live in New Hampshire getting ready to vote in the primary, think about what's really going on. And that these two groups really don't care about you at all. And if you're going to vote for somebody you think is going to be a good leader. And I'm sorry, but in my opinion right now, there's no Republican that fits that at all. Not, I mean, sorry. Just I've researched them all. I won't get into it right now. Come on. And Bernie Sanders at least has a history of doing what he feels is right. And if you agree with him on a lot of his stuff, then maybe you should vote for him. That's just what I feel. So thanks for watching me rant a little bit. But keep in mind that you can make a difference. And if you go out and try to do the right thing, join a group that wants to make some good changes. In my opinion, the Modern Whig Party does that. And thanks for watching.